What's going on, y'all? This is BoxingWave. Shout out to Eric Grimey. He actually requested me to do a video about Al Haymon. Is he bad for boxing? Salute to him because he's always supporting my channel. He comments on the YouTube, my videos on YouTube, and he's on Twitter. I'm always reposting my videos. So shout out to him. He actually requested this video. I don't think I've done a video just speaking solely on Al Haymon, alright? I know a lot of fans blame him for the state that boxing is in today. I know that a lot of people like to compare him to Don King. To the people that compare him to Don King, I don't think they really know who Don King really was. I don't think Al Haymon is anywhere near on the level of Don King. Okay, Don King he influenced everyone involved in the sport with intimidation and even violence. Okay, before he was even a promoter, he murdered someone. Okay, this guy has some serious, a serious rap sheet. Alright, and then when he became a promoter, he had his hands in everything. Okay, he had influence on the refs, the judges, allegedly, of course, but the referees, the judges, the fighters, of course, the networks, other promoters. This guy seriously had some muscle in the sport. Okay, dating back for years. All right. At some point, he was even in control of all of the heavyweights, all of the top heavyweights. Okay, this guy would literally, if one of his fighters lost, he would easily just snatch up whoever fighter beat one of his fighters. This guy was intense. There's no comparison to Al Haymon. I mean, there's ways that you can, a lot of things with Al Haymon is based on assumptions and just speculation on, people say that Al Haymon runs the sport. Al Haymon he's the boss and he makes all the decisions. He's behind the scenes, pulling all the strings. That's what people are saying today. But Don King, his fighters weren't even getting paid. Alright, he was screwing a lot of fighters, not just Mike Tyson and stuff. He did it. It was a lot of fighters, man. A lot of fighters, alright? He was getting these guys to sign contract. It was a lot of stuff going on with this guy. Alright, his fighters weren't getting paid. Alright. Al Haymon, a lot of people point the finger at him because he actually has the largest stable of fighters signed under him. I mean, he's actually an advisor. A lot of people say that he's like a promoter. He might be working like a promoter himself. Maybe he is pulling all the strings. He might be doing that, but he shouldn't be compared to Don King. Not just yet. Because none of us know what's really going on. We just make the assumptions. We see these fighters thanking him, okay, for giving them opportunities. Alright, but the way I look at it is, I really don't see Al Haymon to be any different from any of the other big time promoters in the sport. Okay, he's doing what a promoter would do, an advisor, manager would do, and he's keeping the best interest of his fighters from a business standpoint. He's not a fighter, so I really don't expect him to do much but make money, all right, and make sure his fighters keep winning. He's an advisor. That's what he does, is advise. All right, he cuts the checks. All right, he's not getting into the ring. You got Al Haymon fighters that thank him for everything. They won't tell you any future plans. They just say, I want to thank Al Haymon, and You know, before, you know, well, who do you want to fight next? What about this fight? This fight? Oh, you know, I got to discuss it with my team. You know, I'm not really sure. Bob Arum has fighters that do the same thing. Oscar De La Hoya got fighters that do the same thing. You know, there's plenty of other promoters. You got Dan Goosen. You got, you know, you got Lou DiBella. You got Main Events. You got Eddie Hearn. You got so many fighters that do the same thing. Okay? They don't come out and say it. You got fighters that are vocal. You got the Keith Thurmans. You got Erislandy Lara, you know, calling out Golovkin and stuff. You got fighters doing whatever they want that are signed to Al Haymon. Then you got fighters that don't, that keep quiet. So I'm not gonna solely blame everything on Al Haymon. You know, especially when there's other promoters out there with fighters that do the same exact thing. I'm not. I haven't seen enough yet. And I don't know enough. I would love to be a fly on the wall when Al Haymon has his meetings with his fighters and they discuss who is the next potential opponents. Because something tells me that the fighters are looking for the easiest situation while still getting paid the most. More and more fighters are signing to him on a monthly basis. Okay? And not many of them are trying to leave. If any. You see promoters getting involved in all these kind of lawsuits with their fighters. Not on the level that Don King was, but Al Haymon, we don't really hear too much from him. So is he bad for boxing? I think all promoters are bad because they're not just letting these guys fight whoever they want, you know, when they want. I think he's doing his job as an advisor. I'm honestly gonna say that. I don't really know enough about Al Haymon, honestly. And in my opinion, because I don't know this too, but in my opinion, the fighters, the guys that actually have to step into the ring, they need to start using more muscle if they can. Okay? I think a lot of these fighters are getting paid very well because we know what the purses are. When Don King wasn't paying his fighters. He'd make promises, but they weren't getting paid what he promised. He would take out all of these fees. All of these fees that came out of nowhere, and his fighters weren't getting paid. So there's no way I can compare them to. And as far as Al Haymon being bad for boxing, I don't think it's any different to him and any other fighter. Even Oscar De La Hoya has publicly said, I didn't want Canelo to fight Alison Trout or Erislandy Lara, but he wanted to fight them. Oscar, a Hall of Famer, one of the biggest pay-per-view draws of all time. A fighter. And he's trying to get Canelo to take easier fights. Now, I don't know if that's some kind of promotional strategy, because he could be saying that to make Canelo appear to be, you know, have more heart than he actually has. That could be it too. Because at one point, everybody thought Canelo just took easy fights and he was cherry picking. And now people think Canelo is one of the guys that want to just fight the top fighters. Because Oscar says he didn't want him to fight Lara, or he didn't want him to fight Trout. So that could be, you never know with these promoters. They're all doing their job. I care more for the fighters. And any little thing that you can do to make a fight happen, if you have to step in the ring like Shea Mosley did, you have to step to a fighter, if you have to step to the podium like the way Lara did Canelo to finally get your match, then do it. Do whatever it takes out of the fight. If you have to call a guy out in every single interview you do to make a fight happen, continue. Because your chances are slim regardless of who you're signed to. unless you're a small time promoter trying to get a big time fight. So that's my opinion. I just don't know enough. I haven't seen enough yet. Broner, he's been calling out Matisse. He's he fought in the same card. He's a Al Haymon fighter. I think Matisse is too. Hopefully we'll see them fight next. Okay, we'll see. We'll see what goes on with Danny Garcia. All right. So that's it. I'm gonna do some other videos, so be on the lookout for those. All right. Peace.